All right, we are recording. Almost forgot for anyone who's watching this once it's been uploaded to YouTube. We haven't talked about anything yet. This is the first part of the webinar. So, yeah, again, thank you for everyone coming wherever you are in the world. Thank you for taking your time out. It's not something I take lightly. I realize, a lot of you guys, busy schedules, whether it's family, work, relationships, social life, whatever it might be. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come be a part of this webinar. Hopefully, learn some few things and become a bit more familiar with water fasting, healing your body, and what it all looks like. So, without further ado, what are we here to talk about? How to successfully complete a water fast and heal your body naturally. So, we're going to break a water fast down into the three components that it's all about: how to properly prepare, how to complete the water fast, and then how to break it and reintegrate back into your day-to-day life. All right, but before we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am, because who am I? And why the hell should you listen to me? I'd say most of you guys are familiar with me, as you've probably come from my social media, from Instagram or whatever it might be. Maybe you're sitting with a friend. Maybe you're completely new to what it is, what this is all about, and who I am. So let me provide a little bit of credibility, so I'm not just some crazy person talking about drinking water. My name is Saxon Fischer-Gray. That's me. I'm 34 years old. I live in Sydney, Australia, and I have been working as a fasting and detoxification coach for the last 5 years, since 2021. But I've been operating in this space and I've been fasting myself and learning all about it since 2017. And I didn't grow up with this way of life. I didn't grow up with, natural healing and fasting and detoxification and a holistic lifestyle. I grew up in a healthy home. We used to eat lots of fresh food and whatever, but I mean, we used to eat crap. And, once I finished school, I started drinking beers with my mates every weekend. I used to do recreational drugs. Like, I played rugby. I was a bit of a blokey bloke, and I still am a bit of that as well. But obviously, have changed my tune a lot in the last now 9 years. So if you'd said to me 10 years ago that I was going to be working as a fasting and detoxification coach, I would have said, A, what the fuck does that mean? Excuse my language. And B, you're crazy. I wouldn't have believed it. But here we are, 9 years later or 10 years later, and that's exactly what I'm doing, and I absolutely love it. So, how did I get involved with this world? So, I really actually started with my older brother Sinclair, who, again, some of you might know. That's him there, by the way. He experienced his own health complications at a young age. So, at about 20 years of age, he was experiencing like crippling, debilitating chronic pain. And that occurred for about 10 years straight. He tried everything he could, different modalities, different training methods, different diets, and nothing worked. He had little to no success until he came across fasting. He heard a gentleman called Tyler Tolman, who, again, some of you probably know, talk about it's less about what you're putting into your body and rather it's more about what you're getting out, what you're detoxing out of your body. And that was a bit of a light bulb moment for him. He started learning more about fasting, and then he's an impulsive guy. He, within a couple of months, decided to go down to Mexico, do a 19-day water fast, and just go for it. He'd been living in pain for 10 years, and he wanted to he really wanted to nail this thing and get a hold of it. So he went and did a 19-day water fast, was a completely life-changing experience for the first time in 10 years, was free of pain and completely changed his way of thinking and what he wanted to do. So he started talking to me about it. Him and I are super close. We shared a room up until I was 19. He's 4 years older than me. So when he was 23, so we're super close. We think a lot alike. He's my best mate. And to hear him have this experience and to be free of pain and because of fasting and detoxification, it really piqued my curiosity. It piqued my interest. So I started to learn more about it. And that's how I got into fasting. That's how I learned about it. That's how I started experimenting with it. That was back in 2017. And I started small. I didn't go down the path my brother did because I didn't need to. I've been fortunate. I've never had a major chronic condition. I've never had any bad injuries. I just really enjoy learning about the human body and seeing what it's capable of. So I started small. I started with a 3-day water fast, 7-day juice fast, then did a 5-day water fast with some smaller fast in between. And then my brother approached me with the idea of doing a 40-day fast, 20 days on water, 20 days on juice in 2018. And I stupidly, although I'm not going to say stupidly because it's the best thing I ever did, I agreed to do it. and we set it all up and we ended up making a documentary about it, which some of you may have seen. If you haven't, this is the name of it here, Fasting the Healer Within. It's also the name of our brand. And we did it. We did this 20-day water fast on the mountains in New South Wales, Australia, and then did 20 days of juice afterwards, which you can see this next photo here. That's my brother and I, about 3 days after the water fast, sipping on some some celery juice, loving life. You know, the water fast, not going to lie to you, 20 days of water fasting, particularly the way we did it, which I wouldn't recommend doing it outside in nature without your creature comforts. It was still the most profound, life-changing experience I've ever had in my entire life. Completely reshaped me as a person, reshaped the way I think, the direction that I was on in my life. I felt lost. I felt like I was walking aimlessly through life, no direction, no idea of where I wanted to go. And upon doing this fast, it was like I suddenly was crystal clear on what it is that I wanted to do. And what it is that I wanted to do is I wanted to share this experience with people. I wanted to help people in their own journey, their own health journey, to help people fast and heal and completely regenerate their bodies and reclaim their health. And here I am. I'm 8 years later, and this is what I do almost full time. I do a little bit of personal training, but this is almost my full-time job, and I fucking love it. I really do. It's an incredibly rewarding job to be able to help people on their path and to be able to help people overcome lifelong sickness and disease and to see how that positively impacts them, their family, their loved ones, their life. So I love my job and I love being here talking to you guys tonight. And I've had the fortunate experience of being able to learn from some of the best fasting and detoxification experts all around the world. Some of you guys might know these people. Tyler Tolman, he was our first mentor. Sinclair and I taught us so much about fasting. He was our mentor for our 40-day fast. Joe Cross, he made a documentary about his own documentary about juice fasting called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It was the inspiration for us to make our documentary. So if you've never seen it, I really strongly recommend you see it. It's called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Did a 60-day juice fast. He had a chronic autoimmune condition and completely healed it, or almost completely healed it, and then healed it just after with plant-based foods. Incredible guy, really lovely, really nice to work with. And then these other two here are two people I've learned from extensively. Dr. Robert Morse, now is naturopathic doctor and a biochemist. Extremely intelligent, unbelievable understanding of the human body, how it operates, how detoxification and regeneration plays a part in our healing. So much of what I talk about and what I help with the people I work with is based on his teachings. And then Dr. Alan Goldhammer, another gentleman, big water fasting guy, has a clinic in Santa Rosa, California. He is the science behind water fasting. He's like a robot when he talks. Extremely nice guy, but he's like a robot. It's like everything is just so scientific, perfectly understood and rehearsed. And yeah, learn a lot from him as well. And from all these different people, what I've learned, I've been able to create my own approach when it comes to detoxification, fasting, and healing the body. And, I've been doing this now for 5 years. I've helped people heal from breast cancer, Crohn's disease, Lyme disease, chronic eczema, digestive issues, skin issues, autoimmune conditions, and everything in between. Some really major chronic stuff that so many of these people have been told that they would never heal from this and they'd have to manage their symptoms for the rest of their life. So if you are one of those people who has been told that, I urge you not to take that as a definitive answer. All right. Search for different means of healing the body naturally, because I promise you, your body knows how to heal. It just needs to be given the right opportunity, the right energy, and the right time to do so. And that's what we're going to talk about here. That's how we're going to talk about how to do that. So without further ado, let's move it on. How to successfully water fast. That's what we're here to talk about today. And I like to break a water fast down. It's a simple way to put it. It's obviously far more intricate and complex than this, but a simple way to approach a water fast is to break it down into 3 separate stages. Your preparation, the water fast itself, and then your break fast and your reintegration back into your day-to-day life. All right. So firstly, why water fast? Why go to the effort to do this? Probably the most common reason I see, and what we've just talked about is to heal chronic sickness and disease. Because when we water fast, we give our body the greatest potential and energy available to go and fix the problems that are occurring inside. And make no mistake, your body knows how to heal. We see it on a smaller scale every day. If you cut your hand, burn your skin, break a bone, your body will immediately go to work fixing those problems because it knows that they're not supposed to be like that. But when it comes to chronic sickness, the way I look at it is you can't heal chronic sickness in the same environment that made you chronically sick. Something has to change. There has to be a circuit breaker of some kind. And water fasting is one of the most powerful ways to change that environment, to give the body the environment that it needs to go and heal these majorly chronic conditions. But that's not the only reason why people water fast. I don't water fast for that reason. I've done multiple extended water fasts of up to 20 days, and I've never had a major chronic condition. I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. But I fast regularly because I fast to give my body an opportunity to clean out, remove, accumulated acidic waste. When I fast, I physically and mentally and emotionally feel the best that I possibly can. When I finish a fast, there's nothing I can't do. I am on top of the world and I am ready to go and succeed and do everything in my life that I want to do at 100%. So that is a big reason why I do it, fasting for greater physical and mental efficiency. And then on top of that, you don't have to be sick to water fast, all right? It can be a preventative measure. Open up your channels of elimination, remove all this accumulated acidic waste before it becomes a problem. And then lastly, for any of you any watching this right now who might be spiritual, it's a really powerful spiritual experience. If you look at all the major religions of the world, there's not much that they agree on. I think we can agree on that. But one thing that they all have in common is fasting. They all incorporate fasting in a different way because it's a really powerful spiritual experience. Again, I speak from my own personal experience. During my 20-day water fast, I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in a God in the sense that there's a man on a cloud kind of thing, but I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in a divine energy, divine power, creator, whatever you want to define that as. And when I was fasting, when I was deep into a 20-day fast, sitting amongst nature, feeling the energy of the planet, of the universe, I was shocked by how connected I felt to everything around me. And I understood in that moment why fasting is such a spiritual practice. So for any of you who potentially are a spiritual person, religious person, I really believe fasting can be a really powerful spiritual experience for you on top of all the other benefits that come with it. So why is fasting so powerful? So in order to understand why fasting is powerful, it's important to understand the nature of energy in the body. All right. So everything our body does, physical or non-physical, has an energetic demand. All right. Me talking to you right now, moving my body, the thoughts that I have, all of it requires energy in order for that process to be carried out. So too does detoxification and healing. All right. So in order for the body to be able to properly detoxify and regenerate, it has to have the energy available. But the body does not have an infinite amount of energy. It's limited. And there's certain things that will always take priority and that consume a lot of the body's energy. Most notably is digestion. The digestive process is one of the biggest consumers of energy in the body. It's estimated that 80% of the body's energy goes towards the digestive process. And in the Western world, again, I don't know where you guys are in the world, I don't know what your eating habits are like, but in so many places, especially in the Western world, we're eating up to 6 times a day, which means every time we eat up to 6 times a day, all of our energy or 80% of it is going towards that digestive process, which means when we're doing that, very little energy is available or left over to go towards detoxification, healing, cellular repair, all the things that are important to a healthy long-term body. All right. So if you are someone who is dealing with chronic sickness or degenerative parts of the body, whatever it might be, a period of time away from digestion, especially if it's done with intention, will allow the body to have so much more energy available to put towards the healing and detoxification process. Because when we fast, we take a break from digestion, all the energy that usually goes towards digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination is now available for the body to go and put towards cellular repair, detoxification, regeneration, whatever it might be. And like I said, make no mistake, your body knows where the areas of concern are. It just needs the opportunity. It needs the energy and the environment from you to go and fix these problems. And fasting is one of the most powerful ways to do that. And when we're fasting, our body is able to significantly increase certain processes that increase detoxification and regeneration, particularly autophagy and stem cell production. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. And our innate healing potential is greatly accelerated, allowing for miraculous healing in a very short amount of time. Your body knows how to heal itself, and it's only capable of healing itself. I can't heal you, doctors can't heal you, no amount of medication is going to heal you. Only you and your body are capable of doing that. All right. When we're fasting, we're giving the body the best support to be able to go and do it. So, stage one, preparation. Let's dive into it. Preparing for a water fast. Put it simply, the longer you water fast, the longer your preparation needs to be. In my opinion, anything longer than 7 days, I recommend going to get a comprehensive blood test done, as this will allow and highlight any nutritional deficiencies or any contraindications. So, if you go and do a blood test and you find out you're deficient in iron or B12, vitamin D, depending on how deficient, they may be reasons why you're not suitable there and then for an extended water fast. And it may be an indication that you need to go and build your blood. You need to go and build your nutritional storages. And then contraindications, there's certain things like if you have weak kidneys or weak kidney function, that may be an indication, not necessarily that you can't do a water fast, but that you need to be very mindful and structured in a way that will support your kidney function, not overloading your body with fluids, drinking within a certain time frame to give your body a better opportunity in your kidneys, better opportunity to filter any fluid coming into it. So anything longer than 7 days, I recommend getting a blood test done. To be honest, anything longer than 7 days or 5 days, I recommend working, unless you've done it before and you're familiar with it, I recommend working with a coach or a professional or being supervised in some way, because if you're doing it for the first time, you want to make sure that anything that's occurring is normal, it's supposed to be happening, it's not something to be worried about. And if you don't have that support or that experience or that knowledge from someone who's done all this work before, you can find yourself getting worked up over things that you don't need to. Become very clear on your why. All right. Why are you doing this fast? Why have you chosen to put yourself through this experience that may very well be at times a challenging one? All right. Because in those challenging moments, that little inner voice in your head is going to start to say, like, oh, this is hard. I don't want to do it. And you've already done so well and you did great in your prep and your symptoms are already improving. So, like, let's break it early because it'll just be easier. I get that. I've done numerous water fasts and I still get that voice in my head. But when your why is strong enough, and I know there's some of you watching this right now who have very strong reasons to water fast, to heal chronic conditions. When you have a strong why, in those moments where that little voice in your head tells you to quit, your why is what's going to pull you through those moments. So make sure you're really clear on what that why is and keep it close to you throughout your water fast. So, when preparing, you need to eliminate addictive substances from your diet and lifestyle, most notably coffee, processed foods, artificial sugar, animal products, alcohol, cigarettes, and vapes. I recommend eliminating all of these things at least a week in advance to ensure any uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms you might be dealing with, they're done and dusted by the time you start your water fast. All right, so if you are dealing with any of those things or you're regular with any of those things and you want to water fast, you have to be prepared to give them up. So the aim of your preparation for your water fast, one of your main goals is to hydrate your body, clean out your colon and move your lymphatic system. Start that process because when you're in your water fast, your body is going to be really looking to clean out the colon, move and flush out the lymphatic system because so many of the symptoms that we deal with are a result of an obstructed, inflamed colon and a stagnant lymphatic system. So you really want to kickstart the journey and the process of cleaning those things out. So on the water fast, you can go deeper and also make your experience a little bit more comfortable. You can also do colon cleansing. I recommend that. There's certain products out there. If you're interested, you can message me privately. We can talk more about that. But colon cleansing, the more you do of it, the better your fast will be, the more effective and more comfortable it will be as well. It's very important to prepare slowly and then gradually increase the level of detoxification. All right. So any fasting experience or preparation that I put together for the clients that I work with will look like this. All right. It varies in length depending on the water fast, but we cut out all those substances in the week leading up to it. And then we start on raw fruits and vegetables, raw foods. So we do that for a period of time, usually between about 3 to 5 days. Then we'll move to fruits, which is a step up in detoxification, but again, still sustainable, still comfortable. Again, do it for roughly 3 to 5 days. Move into juices. So we're now removing the digestive needs of the body, except for absorption and utilization. We're cutting out digestion, cutting out elimination. We're really kicking up detoxification. But in this time, also, it's important to remember during the raw foods, fruits, and juices, physically you're preparing, absolutely. But mentally and emotionally, you're giving your body time to really prepare for what's to come. By the time any of my clients get to a water fast, they're all ready to go. They're almost like, I want to start this yesterday. I'm ready to go. I want to get this done. All right. So it's really important to prepare slowly, gradually increase the level of detoxification, which will allow your body physically, mentally, and emotionally to get ready for the water fast to come. So, stage two, the water fast. What can you expect? All right, it's important to note that everybody's water fast is going to be different. All right, we're all coming in with different levels of health, different ages, different weight, different genetic makeups, genetic weaknesses. So everybody's water fasting experience will be different. And I can't tell you exactly what it will be like, but there are certain things that are quite consistent across the board from person to person. And these are some of the things here. So what you can expect, your energy levels will most likely fluctuate, particularly in the first 3 days of your water fast. As your body transitions from using glycogen and sugar storages to transitioning over to burning fat to produce ketones for fuel, that first 3 day period can produce some uncomfortable symptoms and some fluctuation of energy levels. And in this time, you may experience some discomfort and some healing crises, which we'll talk about in a little bit. On top of that, you're going to have bad breath. I've got a client who's on day 12 right now who says it feels like something's dead inside of her. That's the way her breath smells. And that is just an indication that she has got some old putrefying waste that needs to come out. And it's most likely coming from her colon. So you need to be prepared for that. You can do things to mitigate it, tongue scrape, oil pull, brush your teeth, but sometimes you just have to to deal with it. There will be emotional releases, particularly in a longer water fast. You know, when we remove all our coping mechanisms, food being the number one, our body has the opportunity now to release suppressed emotions that we've pushed down because they're too hard to deal with at the time. And this can present in different ways. You can feel the need to cry, be overwhelmed with grief, sadness, anger, guilt, whatever emotions or trauma you've dealt with in your lifetime, they may come up during your fasting experience, and it's completely fine. You just have to lean into it, allow it to be released, cry, scream, laugh, whatever it needs to be. Do it. Lean into it. Don't run from it. This is an important one here, dizziness and lightheadedness if you stand up too quickly. All right, so dizziness, when you're in a fasted state, your body so your blood pressure is going to naturally drop. It's normal, it's not something to be too concerned about unless it drops too low, which is why I typically recommend anything beyond 5 days working with a coach, because they will be able to tell you if it's approaching a too lower level, and if you need to potentially break the fast early or change your approach. But when it does start to naturally drop, your body is going to be more prone to dizziness and lightheadedness, particularly if you stand up too quickly. So it's really important when water fasting, take your time, slow things down, particularly if you're getting up from the couch, from bed, from the toilet. Just take your time. Don't try and pop up and do things too quickly, because that's when dizziness and lightheadedness can be more notable. And then lastly, I put this in bold letters because it is something I've experienced, and literally the same client who said she's got bad breath has shit herself twice during her water fast. It's no joke, even though it is quite funny. When you're water fasting, your body is moving a lot of things through your colon. It's stripping the colon wall of waste, of old fecal matter, mucus, potentially parasites. The lymphatic system is dumping things into the colon as well. And they're moving slowly, so that's just the wind slamming the window. But it's moving slowly, but it is moving towards the exit. And sometimes what you feel is just a run-of-the-mill fart can often have some follow-through that comes with it. So I'm going to tell you right now, let this be your warning. All right, don't trust a fart. And if you do, don't say I didn't warn you. All right, good luck. Water fasting, how to manage. All right, my first point of call with any clients who are not feeling great, drink water. All right, it's not going to necessarily fix your problem, but it's going to allow your body a better opportunity to move and process what's happening inside. Remember your why. All right, what we talked about earlier. Keep your why close to help you pull you through those challenging moments. Breathe deeply and keep your nervous system in a state of calm, all right, in your parasympathetic nervous system, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Prioritize rest and relaxation. Avoid stressful people, avoid stressful environments. Your water fasting experience journey is sacred. It should be a priority. It shouldn't be something that is the third or fourth priority in your day to day. Otherwise, you'll get a third or fourth result. You won't get the result that you're looking for. Make it a priority. Which brings me to my next point. Make yourself and your healing number one priority. It has to be a top priority. I understand some of you are mums, you have jobs, you've got bills to pay. I don't expect you to go and, be a monk and camp out in the hills. Not everybody has that opportunity to do that. But what I do expect you to do is to, if you need to, cancel social events, all right? Any errands that don't have to be run, any jobs that don't have to be done immediately, put them on hold. Make your experience top priority amongst being a mum, being a dad, working your job, whatever it might be. Avoid stressful people and places. That's a really big one. I think one that I think is important because not everybody is going to understand or support your journey. It's usually comes, I experience this with myself, and I experience this a lot with clients. The people that care about you most, your friends, your family, potentially your colleagues, the ones who see you the most, they're not all going to understand what it is that you're trying to do. They just from the outside looking in, they just see you not eating, losing weight, and then potentially associate that with an eating disorder or a body image issue. And then they'll start telling you that what you're doing is stupid or dangerous or wrong, and they'll make you start to question it or feel bad about it. And it comes from a good place. It comes from love. But at the end of the day, you don't need that energy around you. So I really strongly encourage you, if those people are in your life and they're making you feel that way, keep them at arm's distance. Tell them you'll talk to them at the end of the water fast. Say it lovely, say it lovingly, or if you have to, tell them to fuck off, whatever it takes. But don't have those people around you because it'll really affect your energy and your ability to go deep into this water fast. On the flip side, if you have people who are supportive, encouraging, really nurturing, and really, make you feel like what you're doing is great and make it easier for you to do it, and so you can keep you accountable, share it with them. I share it with my family. I'm fortunate I got my older brother, Sinclair. We always keep each other accountable during our fasts, and it makes it easier. It makes it easier to have people there with you to lean on in your moments where you're, feeling particularly shit or it's challenging or whatever it might be. So if you have people like that, bring them into the fold. Keep them up to date with what you're doing. So, speaking about, keeping your energy in the right place and not having stressful people around you, I want to talk a little bit about your autonomic nervous system. So, some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not be. So, to give you a brief little rundown, we have two main nervous systems in our body. We have our central nervous system, which is our brainstem that connects to our spinal cord. To put it very simply, it's what controls predominantly our voluntary movements. All of our senses, me moving, consciously doing things, is controlled by our autonomic nervous system. And then you have your autonomic nervous system. So I think I said central nervous system. And then you have your autonomic nervous system, which is what, again, to put it simply, controls all the involuntary processes that happen inside of your body at any one time. You think about all the things happening inside of your body right now as you sit on this call that are keeping you alive. Circulation, absorption of nutrients, cellular repair, lymphatic elimination, gas exchanges in the lungs. Your nervous system is working overtime just to keep you alive. All right. And your autonomic nervous system controls all of that. So it's extremely important that we take care of it and keep it healthy. Your autonomic nervous system has two branches. So you have your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. You've probably heard of the sympathetic. It's called your fight or flight nervous system. All right. It's what happens when our body goes into an emergency or survival state. All right. And to take you back many years before we lived in the modern world we do now, back when we were, foragers and hunter-gatherers and nomads, we would only go into this fight or flight nervous system when our life was literally in danger. It's a primal nervous system. So when we were encountered with a predator or a dangerous situation, going to war with another tribe, our body would go into this sympathetic nervous system, and our brain would signal to our adrenal glands to produce high levels of stress-related hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, to give our body the most amount of energy to be able to survive or run or fight whatever threat was happening in our external world. What happens when we go into this survival fight or flight nervous system, though, is our body shuts down all this non-essential activity, because it doesn't matter if our body doesn't matter how well we digest our food or lymphatically eliminate or repair damaged cells in this moment of survival. Because if we don't survive, none of that shit matters. So our body will shut down all this non-essential activity, produce higher immense amounts of stress-related hormones and chemicals to give our body the greatest opportunity and energy to fight or run, fight or flight. Now, the modern world that we live in, the problem that we live in is we spend extended periods of time in this sympathetic fight or flight nervous system. All right. We get there through thought alone. Our mind is our greatest weakness, our greatest weapon, and our greatest weakness because we can create stress and a feeling of not being safe through thought alone. You think about when you think about bills, finances, work, relationships, kids. I don't have kids, but I hear they're stressful. Even traffic. I think most people become these rage monsters when we sit in traffic or someone cuts you off or doesn't say thank you. When we do that, when we think about all these things, and we feel these emotions of anger and stress and fear and anxiety and guilt and all these things that come with these thoughts, our body goes into this sympathetic nervous system. And when we spend extended periods of time in this nervous system, there's no digestion, there's no detoxification, there's no lymphatic elimination, no cellular repair. All the things that are important for healing the body can't happen when we're in this nervous system. So, what you need to do in your preparation, in your water fast, and beyond, right now after this call, is get into your parasympathetic nervous system as often as possible. All right. It's what's more commonly known as your rest and digest. It's when your body is in a state of calm and can relax. And most importantly, it feels safe. When your body feels safe and it feels like it can be vulnerable, it takes its attention from the external world and turns that attention and energy into your internal body and will start going to work, fixing problems, detoxifying, repairing damaged cells, whatever needs to happen inside of your body. So this is really important for your detoxification protocol, for your water fast. And the ways in which to achieve this in a water fast are through rest. If you're having a tough day, you rest. Doing things that bring you into flow state. So if you like to paint or sing or listen to music or meditate, whatever it might be, sit out in the sun, anything that brings you into a flow state is going to bring you into your parasympathetic nervous system. Breath work, meditation, they are a part of any program that I run, daily protocols, and deep sleep. All right, deep sleep can be challenging during a water fast at time, but sleeping as often and as deeply as possible plays a huge role in getting you into your parasympathetic nervous system and detoxing your body. All bodily functions can occur more effectively in this state, and this is the goal for your water fast. All right, autophagy. Some of you guys have probably heard about this before, but when we're in a water fasted state, it's a process in the body that is significantly increased. It's a Greek word that translates roughly to self-eating or self-devouring. And again, it's a process the body goes into after an extended fasting window, about 16 hours, and then it just increases in effectiveness beyond that up until about 3 days, where it just is at maximum potential for as long as you water fast. So when the body is kicking up autophagy, the body is able to turn its attention to the cells of the body and clean themselves out and eliminate any damaged and faulty components of the cell. And this allows for both cellular repair and cellular regeneration. This is crucial in the removal and/or regeneration of acidic and cancerous cells like tumors, cysts, and degenerative cells of the body. Incredible process, which again just highlights the body's ability to self-heal, and it's significantly increased when we're in a water fasted state. This is a really cool one that I don't think many people know about or not too familiar about. But there was a study done at the University of Southern California in 2014 that showed when the body goes into ketosis, which happens around the 16 to 24 hour mark and is kicked up around that, again, second to third day, when the body produces or utilizes fat cells to produce ketones, which is then used for energy, at the same time, it's able to produce what are called embryonic-like stem cells. So embryonic stem cells are the stem cells that we have when we're in the womb, when we're in a fetus, when we are a fetus. And these stem cells, embryonic stem cells, have the ability to replicate any cell in the body, take the place of any cell in the body. All right, incredibly powerful. And for the most part, this is limited to when we are in the womb, when we are a fetus. But when we're in a fasted state, as they've showed in this study, beyond about the second to third day, when we're producing these ketones and utilizing fat cells for energy, we produce stem cells that have the same capacity and potential as embryonic stem cells. All right, so these stem cells also have the power of pluripotency, which means that they can travel through the entire circulatory system and replace any cell in the entire body. All right, no matter where that cell is in the body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, whether it's an organ, gland, bone, muscle, tissue, it can be replaced and regenerated through this process. So the potential for this is unbelievable. It's unlimited. There are people who have done water fast who are paraplegics, can't move from the waist down because of a damaged spinal cord, and upon doing these necessary protocols and a longer water fast, have been able to restore function to their lower body because of this power of embryonic-like stem cells being able to replicate the spinal cord. So it's incredible. And again, just supports the idea that the body knows how to heal. We just have to get out of the way. We just have to give it the opportunity, which is what we're doing during a water fast. And if you do it in the right way, it's not as simple as just drinking water, not eating food, and getting on with your day. You have to give it the right environment, which is what we're learning how to do here. All right, let's talk about a quality of water for your water fasting experience. All right. First and foremost, do not, under any circumstances, that's why it's underlined, do not drink bottled water or tap water. Tap water can contain trace levels of chemicals that are really harmful and acidic to the body. Bottled water is stagnant water that has no electric flow to it. It also, I've done testing on Mount Franklin here in Australia and a couple of other brand name water bottles and found it to be acidic because it's not moving, it's not flowing water. So at the very base level, I would want you to get some sort of filtration system or a filtered jug that you then use to put your tap water or whatever water into it. That would be the baseline. The next level up would be either reverse osmosis or distilled water. And then lastly, if you have access to a natural spring, most of us who live in the city probably don't, but if you live out in the mountains, you live, somewhere that's a little bit more rural and you have access to a natural spring, that is the best water to drink. That is rich in minerals, alkaline, energetic water, best thing you can drink. If you're drinking these three here, I typically recommend people add a small pinch of salt to their water in the morning for mineral content to help balance electrolytes. But yes, somewhere in those first four need to be your water source, not bottled water or tap water. How much water should you drink? All right, if you are doing more than 5 days, I would recommend that you work with a coach because the amount of water that you shoed be drinking will depend on your daily blood pressure and also urine strips that I get people to utilize each morning. And it gives us data, it gives us feedback based on your hydration levels. And if we need to drink more water, drink the same amount or drink less. If you're doing your own water fast up to 5 days, I would recommend, as a generic rule, drink 1 liter per 22 kilos of body weight. So whatever body weight you are, drink 1 liter per 22 kilos. I would say even beyond that, you could probably drink 10 to 20% more just to be safe as the days go by. But that's a generic rule, generic approach. Again, if you're doing anything more than 5 days, I recommend you work with a coach. Drink when you feel like you're dehydrated or when you're really struggling, and then also sip the water, don't scull it. All right. You can drink a fair amount in that first sip or first liter in the morning, but as you move through the day, just consistently drink as the day goes on. Speaking of which, I'm going to have some water because I'm talking a lot and my mouth is dry. Hopefully, you're all still with me. Again, very important while water fasting is to monitor vitals, particularly in a longer water fast beyond 5 days. So regularly checking your blood pressure, making sure it's not dropping too low. Because if it's dropping low, it's often an indication of dehydration. So make sure you're drinking more water if it gets quite low. Keeping an eye on your heart rate, making sure it doesn't drop too low, or sometimes what I see is it goes too high, and that's something that needs to be monitored. I've had a client who, she had a condition that called tachycardia where it would raise quite easily at rested state. But she, on day 3 of her water fast, of a 5-day water fast, woke up with a resting heart rate of 160 beats per minute, which is like what most people get to at their max level of exercise and training. And she was freaking out. She wasn't sure what to do. So we collectively decided to bring her water fast to a close, to come back onto some fruit. Still had an incredible experience, but we'll talk about it in just a moment. When you start to get to that state where you don't feel safe and you're worried, that state of anxiety or fear, that's putting your body into that fight or flight nervous system, which is now going to impact how well you can actually detox and regenerate during this water fast. So sometimes it's better to just slow it down so you can have peace of mind. But also important to keep an eye on weight loss. There are certain numbers and levels of weight loss where we want to be mindful if they're getting too low. Depends on your size, depends on your weight, your height, all these things. So it's very unique and dependent on the individual, but it is something to keep an eye on. And then lastly, I get all my clients beyond 5 days to use urine strips, just to give us more data, show what's coming out in the urine, if you're in ketosis, if there's issues with your blood sugar levels, you know, pH balance, if there's protein coming out, which can be due to, muscle breakdown. Just gives us more information, more data, and based on what that is, we'll decide how to continue if we need to change the amount of water, activity levels, or even bring the fast to a close early. So make sure you monitor your vitals as much as possible. The more data, the more information you have, the better approach the more accurate approach you can have for what you need to do. Daily protocols. These are all the protocols I give my clients every day, and these will really help support the body to be in that parasympathetic nervous system and to open up your channels of elimination so you can effectively detox the most possible. Breath work, meditation every day. Gua sha, if you don't know it, it's skin scrub with vodka and bicarb soda. Helps open up your perspiration channel, your skin, kills bacteria sitting under the surface levels. Enemas, colonics to help keep keep the colon moving, keep things flushing out. Saunas and ice baths done at a comfortable speed or experience. I don't want you staying in a sauna for 40 minutes and completely roasting yourself. Likewise, you're not sitting in an ice bath for 10 minutes. You're doing it at a level that is appropriate for where you are in your water fast, but can really help circulation, can help open up your channels of elimination, and increase your body's ability to detoxify and heal. Lymphatic flow process or routine that I have that I give to my clients helps move the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system requires on hydration and movement to move. All right, so it's really important to make sure you're doing that regularly. Sun, despite what we're being told in the modern world, the sun is not trying to kill you. It is the sole reason that we exist on this planet. Without the sun, this planet no longer exists. All the vegetables, or sorry, all the plants and fruits and vegetables that we eat grow because of the sun. The energy that we're eating is energy from the sun. Plants turn to find the best spots to grow in the sun. Animals will seek out the sun to sit and absorb its energy. For some reason, we are the only species that has decided it's trying to kill us and that we need to cover up, put toxic chemicals on our skin so that we can't absorb the energy. Go figure. So get in the sun as much as possible, as much as your body will allow, because obviously some of us have different, skin and different abilities to sit in the sun. So sit in it without burning, and you'll find as you move through the water fast, you'll be able to tolerate it more easily and for longer periods of the time. Longer periods of time. Lastly, a warm bath or a warm shower right before bed can really help with relaxing and getting to sleep and having a deeper sleep. All of these things are really important. Make sure you're doing them every day. And then lastly, for the water fast, this is really, really important to be able to distinguish the difference between a healing crisis or what we call a detox symptom and an indication that you need to break the fast early. Again, this highlights why I think it's important if you're doing a long water fast, and especially if you're doing it for the first time, why you should work with a coach. As the body mobilizes dormant toxins and acidic chemistry from your body through your lymphatic system, through your colon, your body will begin to feel the unpleasant effect of these things moving through your systems on the way to being eliminated. And these things are normal and they will occur. I've got clients right now, again, who there's terrible bad breath. She's got diarrhea. She's got headaches. She's got all kinds of symptoms. And none of them are a reason to break the fast early because when she has eliminations, when she does her enemas, colonics, or does a breath work session, she immediately feels better because she's supporting her body's ability to eliminate this shit that's causing the problem. But these healing crises, these detox symptoms, they can manifest themselves in different ways. All right, it can be nausea, diarrhea, stomach pain, skin irritations, headaches, fever. And most of these things, 99% of the time, are very normal and they will pass. Drink some water, do your supporting protocols, sleep it off, and you'll often find you wake up the next day feeling much, much better. There are certain instances where the symptoms that they're experiencing are a reason to break the fast early. I mentioned one just before, the lady who had 160 beats per minute at resting heart rate. I've had other clients who just experience intense fatigue to the point where they have trouble getting out of bed. Their blood pressure will drop to significantly low levels, or their weight will come down to really slow, really low levels. And they start to worry, they start to panic. As soon as your clients or as soon as you guys start to get that point where you're panicking, you're past the point of no return, where you can't be brought back to a rational state of mind, I urge you to err on the side of caution and to break the fast early. Come back onto juices. All right. Whatever you have left in your water fast, do it with a juice fast. You'll still experience incredible healing and detoxification, but you'll do it at a speed and comfort level that is sustainable. All right. So just be mindful of these things. The word that I first and the next thing I'm going to talk about. Consider the word safe. If at any point you don't feel safe to continue, then I recommend breaking the fast early. Only you can decide what is, what makes you feel safe or what feels unsafe. So again, err on the side of caution. If you feel unsafe during an extended water fast and things are these like, detox symptoms and healing crises are lingering and they're not passing from one day to the next, and you don't feel safe to continue, I recommend breaking it early. This is again why I recommend working with a coach, a professional, someone who's experienced with this stuff, because they will help you and support you in the best decision to make about whether to continue or whether to break the fast early and continue on juice or fruit. All right, so be mindful of that. There is such a thing as a healing crisis. You will experience uncomfortable symptoms. Again, 99% of the time, it's normal and they will pass. And it's an indication that your body's doing what it's supposed to do. But there is that 1% of the time that you need to be mindful and potentially break your fast early. So that's your water fast. All right. Hopefully, you guys have got some insight there into how to conduct your water fast and get the most out of it. Do it safely, do it effectively, and do it comfortably. All right. But now we're going to come back into the third stage, which is when you break your fast or reintegrate back into your day-to-day life. So there's a quote that I really like. All right. It says, "Every fool can fast, but only the wise man knows how to break a fast." And I think it's really, really applicable. And I think it's really spot on when it comes to extended fasting. The only thing I don't agree with is every fool can fast, because not every fool can fast. Fasting takes, dedication, it takes disciplines. I'm not going to say every fool can fast, but it does take a wise man or woman to break a fast effectively. Because at the end of the day, fasting, whilst challenging, it's simple to wrap your head around. You're eating, you're not eating. Obviously, there's protocols to do and things like that, but it's black and white in a sense. But when you break your fast, all right, and you suddenly have access to all these different foods that you've probably been daydreaming about, which is completely normal. It will happen during a water fast. When you break a fast, you all of a sudden have all these foods at your fingertips, restaurants you like to eat at, different foods that you like to snack on, people you like to enjoy, tasty meal with. All of these things are available to do now. But when you break a fast, particularly if you've done a long fast, you need to be very mindful, because your body will take time to readjust to the foods that you're putting back into it. I'm going to share a story with you. The second fasting protocol I ever did was a 7-day juice fast. Second thing I ever did back in 2017, long before I knew how to break a fast effectively, long before I had all the education and experience and knowledge that I do now. I've done my 7-day juice fast, had the best experience ever. I felt great. My skin was really clear. My eyes were bright. My energy was up. Best experience ever. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. But I didn't know how to break it. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you had to do it slowly. So I'd been daydreaming about all these foods. And so on the day that I broke it after 7 days, the first thing that I ate was two massive bacon and egg and avocado sandwiches. I'm talking like thick French baguettes with strips of bacon, scrambled eggs, and huge servings of avocado. Heavy food at the best of times. And I've just finished a 7-day juice fast where my body hasn't had to do anything, very little digestion over the course of that time. And I ate that. I didn't feel great afterwards, but I didn't really think too much of it. And a couple hours later, I went to this burger joint, make really nice, like kind of, gourmet burgers. Went with a couple of mates. I got a burger, a cheeseburger with the works, a thick shake. They do great thick shakes at this place, and then a serving of fries. Smashed it. Best thing ever. Tasted amazing. I'm not feeling great by this point. All of this, conflicting foods and heavy, dense, protein-rich foods and heavy fats, they're sitting in my gut, not going anywhere because my digestive system is not awake yet. And then to top it off, I went to a movie that night. Couldn't tell you what movie it was because I didn't make it to the end. But I ate a serving of popcorn, large popcorn, Maltesers, milk duds. This is long before I went plant-based and was a bit more health conscious like I am now. Popcorn, Maltesers, milk duds, and a Coke Zero or whatever it was I was drinking. I don't think I got through it all because about halfway through the movie, I got the most intense, uncomfortable pains in my stomach, the worst cramps you've ever experienced in your life, unless You're someone who's given birth. I don't know what that's like. And I had to crawl to the bathroom, the movie bathroom, hunched over in agony and spent the next hour and a half, the next part of the movie, didn't finish the movie, in so much pain, clearing this off all out of my bowels because I didn't know how to break a fast properly. And my body was just not ready for any of that, not even ready for any of the foods, but particularly not ready for the amount of food that I put into it. And I had to learn the hard way in that experience how important it is to break your fast wisely with a plan and with the right foods. Which takes me to the next point. This is an area that I see people fail at the most, especially without support. The digestive system takes time to adjust to different foods. The longer you fast, the longer you water fast for, the longer it will take for your body to adjust to different types of foods and different amounts. So I would really encourage you to plan as meticulously as you would for the preparation or the water fast itself. You need to plan as equally well as you do for the other two components. Take it slow, allow your body to readjust to the different foods that are coming back into your system. You want to reintroduce food slowly to begin with, all right? You want to start with juices, particularly if you're doing an extended long water fast beyond 5 days. Start with juices for a couple of days. See how your body goes. Introduce hydrating foods to be fruits to begin with. Think melons, papaya, citrus fruits, foods that are easily digested and very hydrating. And then from there, you'll move into bananas and dates and things like that. And then you move back into your raw food stage, mostly salads or raw fruits and vegetables. From there, you introduce cooked foods, soups, stews, things that have already been broken down quite a lot in the cooking process. And then from there, lightly cooked vegetables, nuts and seeds, and then lastly, animal products. The last thing you want to introduce after a water fasting protocol are things like steak and chicken and things that are high protein, high fat, more challenging for the body to break down. How long that will take will depend on the individual, depend on how long you fast for. Some people adjust more quickly than others. So it's a bit of trial and error, but make sure you have a plan in place and take it slow and see what your feedback is from your body. If your body, during the raw foods or soups and stews is not feeling great, it's an indication that you're probably not ready just yet to introduce those foods. You will be, and it will be fine. It just might take a little bit longer than, say, someone who, is feeling great eating that stuff already. I strongly recommend you continue to intermittent fast and always break your fast with fruit. Regardless of where you are in your journey of reintegrating, day to day, I always recommend introducing fruit or breaking your fast with fruit as your first meal. And then in the first week or second week, I recommend trying to avoid eating large meals. Eat smaller meals in a smaller fasting window just to allow your body to be able to comfortably handle what's coming into it. Emotional state before eating. All right. As we've already talked about, your emotions play a big part in how well you digest food. So if you're stressed out, if you're anxious, if you're in a state of fear, anger, whatever, you're mourning, you're suffering grief, your body's not going to be in a great place to be able to eat and digest food comfortably, including elimination. So being in your survival nervous system shuts down your digestive process. There's breath work protocol I do. It's called 7 rounds of 7. It's just box breathing, in for 7, hold for 7, out for 7, hold for 7, for 7 rounds. I would recommend doing that, especially in the first 2 weeks. But again, day to day, even in your regular life, doing this breath work before your meals to bring your body back into a state of calm so that it can comfortably digest your food. Really important in that first week to be in a comfortable emotional state before you eat your food. All right, and be conscious with your meal, in your eating, and be present in the moment while you eat it. Reintegrating back into life. Your energy is sensitive after a fast, particularly a longer one. So it will take time to adjust. That means being around certain people, particularly people who are high energy and they're stressful and they can sometimes be a lot to be around. You're going to be more sensitive to their energy and it can sometimes be tough to be around them. It will adjust and then you'll be more comfortable like you were before the fast, but just be gentle and be patient with the process. I recommend avoiding stressful places, avoid stressful people, loud places, club, bars, things like that. Give your body time, give your nervous system time to adjust after a long water fast. Lastly, exercise and movement. So I know I got you guys. Hopefully you're all still with me. We're at the hour mark here. I'm not long to go. And we're just about to do Q&A as well. So exercise should be a part of everybody's schedule. All right. Hopefully it's already a part of your schedule. But beyond when you reintegrate, take your time. All right. It takes time for your body to be able to wake up. but you should really be focusing on implementing and installing an exercise routine back into your day-to-day life. Start slowly and just focus on moving the body before putting it under load. So if you're a weightlifter or you like to do resistance training, start with body weight for a week at least. Just give your body an opportunity to get comfortable, open up the body, open up your range of motion, put the joints, ligaments, tendons under some small amounts of load before you load it up to what you're more comfortable with. In my opinion, resistance training is a must. Build and maintain strength and endurance into later life. It will allow you to increase bone density, range of motion, your metabolic health, which will allow for a healthier long-term body as you move forward in your life and get older. But it's important to do what you enjoy, all right? You don't have to lift weights all the time. I do encourage it, but it doesn't have to be your only way of training. If you like bike riding, swimming, hiking, yoga, Pilates, whatever it might be, make that the bulk of what you do because you need to enjoy the process. And if you don't enjoy doing something, but I tell you to do it, it's not going to last long. So you need to make sure you're primarily doing the things that you enjoy to do. And lastly, movement outside creates movement inside. The digestive system, the lymphatic system, they both operate better and more efficiently when the body moves frequently. It's crucial to maintaining your health and preventing disease moving forward as you reintegrate back into your day-to-day life after a fast. That brings me to the end. All right. Hopefully you're all still with me. So now that you have the knowledge of how to prepare, complete, and break a water fast, all right, what is it? What's the next step? No worries. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, mate. So now that you have the knowledge, what's the next step? All right, you can go and do it. All right, if you've been taking notes, you feel confident, you can go and do it. Again, I'm going to take this moment to promote what I do as a living, for a living, because I think if you're looking at doing extended water fast, or you just don't feel like you could do it without the support or accountability, I recommend working with a coach, or I recommend doing it with the right setup. And that is something I can provide. So if you'll allow me to, I'm going to suggest or show you a few of the things that I might be able to offer you. I have a program. This is my OG program, the first one I ever created. It's called the 21-Day Detox and Heal. It's a 21-day program that's broken down into different components, centered around a 5-day water fast. So it prepares with fruits, juicing, raw foods, and then it breaks it again on the other side with fruits and raw foods to finish. So what's included in this transformative 21-day detox and heal journey? This is an automated program, by the way. You can do this at home. You don't have to have one-on-one support. So it's a little bit more affordable as well. So it comes with a 48-page handbook that has all the necessary resources, including the raw foods recipe ebook, juice fasting ebook, as well as the breathwork recording. Inside of it, you'll have links to 15 pre-recorded videos that will allow you to feel supported with all the necessary protocols and different components of the fasting experience and the healing experience. So the handbook has all of it inside of it. Literally, you receive the handbook, everything you need is inside of it. It's your comprehensive guide to understanding the 21-day program and everything involved, packed with insights, tips, and daily guidance to support your journey. I've seen people overcome major chronic conditions doing this program. Crohn's disease, which is a chronic inflammatory bowel condition, this guy was told that he was never going to be able to heal from it. He was going to have to manage his symptoms through medication, through changing his diet. Complete healing. He did this program 2 years ago, and he's still completely healed and reversed his condition completely. I've seen people reverse eczema, major chronic pain. This program, the way it's structured, can achieve major healing. But again, it doesn't have to be just for that purpose. It can be preventative. It can be to give your body an opportunity to just rest and detoxify. So it's also important to remember, guys, something I haven't actually told you, so you can't remember it. For everyone on this call, everyone listening to it on the recording, I'm going to post a link in the chat that takes you to the shop of my website where all of these programs, just for the rest of the evening, are 50% off. So you get a 50% discount if you've been on this call or if you're watching the recording, which is a thank you from me to you for showing up for this call, sticking with me this long. And again, I do this work because I want to help people, to be able to help people heal chronic conditions and be able to change their life and see them move forward with a more comfortable body, a healthy body, and the way that impacts their life. It's the best job in the world. I really, truly love this work. And if I can help you guys in your journey, then that is amazing for me. So I'll be offering that. I'll post the link as we come to the end. I'm also offering a combined discount with this. It's 21-day detox and heal program, which I just talked about. Also with a 90-minute health assessment with me leading into the program. So we can talk about why you want to do it, what you're dealing with, get you set up, make sure that you've got your lifestyle, your diet all ready to go. So when you start the protocol, when you start the program, you're ready to go and you can get the most out of it. For a shorter program that you guys might be interested in, there is a 3-day water fasting program. It's a 5-day program, 1 day of fruit, 3-day water fast, and then 1 day of fruit to break it. All right, what's included is the 3-day water fasting handbook. Again, it comes with the recipe book, breathwork recording. It's a comprehensive handbook that has so many of the other things that are in the 21-day detox and heal that gets the most out of your detox and healing experience. Daily protocols, schedules for what to have, how much to have, when to have it, water, fruits, juice, everything you need to know is in there. And that's a really good thing to just be able to do multiple times a year. It's 5 days. You do it over a weekend and you feel the amazing benefits through doing it. And then lastly, I just want to talk to you guys about this. This is my latest program and this is my baby. This is the thing that I'm most excited to be able to share with people because as I mentioned to you before, something I see a lot of people have trouble with is when they reintegrate back into their day-to-day life. A lot of people don't do that effectively. They have trouble. They fall back into old habits because they're not prepared. They don't have a routine to stick to. They don't get back into exercise. So when things get tough, as life inevitably does, they start to fall back into old habits, which are usually unhealthy ones, that then start to lead them back into poor health and some of the symptoms that they have just spent all this hard work in the water fast completely reversing. So knowing this, seeing this occur from person to person, it became clear to me that there needs to be more support in the months after the fasting experience. So this is the new program that I've put together. It's called Fast into Fit with me. You'll have to excuse the shirts off photo. I'm trying to promote what can happen after after a detoxification protocol. This is me 2 months after I finished my 5-day water fast just recently. And I got back into training. I did all the necessary protocols, right diet, right introduction to training, and I got back into great shape just 2 months after finishing it. So this is what I want to be able to help people do. It's a 3-month program, all right? It's a group program. I'm taking on 10 people starting on 16th of March. It's a group program, but it's one-on-one coaching within that group. I'll be taking weekly calls with all of the people that I work with, one-on-one calls. You have access to me throughout the entire program via WhatsApp, via text. So you can always ask me questions based on what we're part of the protocol we're on. Again, you receive all the necessary daily plans, schedules, protocols, everything you need to know is provided so that you can achieve and get the most out of your fasting and then reintegrating experience. My goal is for you over the course of this 90 days to be able to establish long lasting healthy habits that you'll be able to keep up with training, with diet, sustaining all the benefits from the detoxification well after the 90 days is up, no longer needing my help. So setting you up for long-term success. So it's a 3-month program broken down into 3 months. First month detoxification, second month reintegration, last month rebuilding with exercise, training, whatever it might be that you want to do. For you guys, I'm offering it $500 off. So not 50% off, but $500 off if you book in from this call. All right. You have to book in for a call to book in with me. So you can even book in for a call. You don't have to pay anything to get on this call. We can just talk about it, see if it's something you're interested in. And then from there, we can talk about payment plans or getting you locked in for the call. This is the thing that I'm most passionate about. I'm passionate about all of it, but this is a combination of two things that I've spent the last 10 years doing. Personal training, building healthy, strong bodies through training, through exercise, different movement patterns, and now fasting, detoxification, helping people reverse chronic sickness and disease. I'm combining the two because I want people to be able to experience the benefits of both and have long-lasting health moving well beyond the 90 days. So if you're interested in that, all right, head to my website, which I'll post in just a second. In fact, I'll do it now. I don't need to share my screen anymore, I don't think, because we're moving into Q&A. I'm just going to then quickly, bear with me, take the link from my product page. I'm going to put it in the chat. So while we're talking, doing Q&A, if you guys want to, head to the link. All the things there have been /50%, so you can make the most of it. Um, that's for the waiting room. That's not the right one. All right, so you guys should have got that there. That is the links for it. There it is. So head to that, click on that, get it ready to go. But I'm going to take it to Q&A now, guys. So anyone who has any questions, I want you to just type it in the chat. All right, and we will go from there. And I'll be able to answer any questions that maybe have popped up for you that or you had coming into this call. So fire away, write those questions in there. If you don't have any, then we can bring the call to a finish. But if you do, fire away. I'll give it a minute if any of you guys are typing them in there. Let me just say thank you guys while I'm waiting. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out. I know we all lead busy lives to take an hour. I've taken an hour, just over an hour of your time. I really appreciate you guys making time for that. So hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you feel prepared to be able to go and do a water fast on your own. And yeah, achieve whatever goal that you want, that you have for yourself, whether it be healing, cleaning your body out, preventing sickness in the future, spirituality. Hopefully that can help you guys on your journey. It doesn't look like anyone's got any questions. It's completely fine. Hopefully I answered it. Okay, here we go. Turn on from Kenya in Africa. Thank you for joining me from Kenya in Africa. That is a long way away from where I live, so I really appreciate you taking the time. Fasting for cancer patients and fasting for younger females. So fasting for cancer, again, I've worked with a cancer patient, completely reversed her breast cancer. It's no different necessarily because you will still prepare in the same way. You'll still undergo the same protocols. It is just something that you would typically need to do for longer. For someone who's dealing with cancer, I typically recommend a 21-day water fast because your body is in a degenerative state. The cancer cells in your body have become so acidic and mutated that they are now degenerative. They're no longer recognized by the body as part of the body. And in order to rectify that, to reverse it, to bring the body back to a place of health, will take a considerable amount of water fasting. So 21 days is my recommendation. Funnily enough, the client who I did with the breast cancer, she only did 14 days. It was early stage breast cancer, and she didn't think that she'd be able to do more than 14 days. I recommended 21 days, but she only wanted to do 14 days. That's all she was willing to do, and she completely reversed it. So it's not to say it can't happen in a shorter amount of time, but I would typically recommend 21 days, particularly if it's a more degenerative state, if it's been kind of gotten into a worse stage, whatever cancer it may be. How many days for a water fast for beginners is ideal? I would always say start small. Start with a 3-day water fast. If you've never done any water fasting, even 24 hours is something that's really profound and sustainable and achievable, but is also something that is really beneficial for the body. So I would say 3 days, but if that feels like it's unachievable or a bit too much, start with 24 hours and work your way up. Sorry, I didn't answer another question. Fasting for young females. So any females who are, have their regular cycle, who have not hit menopause, if you're doing an extended water fast to heal a chronic condition, I don't think personally you need to time it with your cycle. If you are implementing intermittent fasting or smaller, more regular fast, there is a lot of research to suggest that it is beneficial to sync it with your cycle. And the best time to do any water fasting is during your follicular phase. All right, that is when your estrogen is at its highest and your cortisol is at its lowest. I have seen many women intermittent fast regularly who do have their cycle, menstrual cycle, have it regularly. It's healthy. So there are examples of people who haven't timed it and still had great success. But there is a lot of research. There's a lady named Mindy Pelz who has a lot of research on this, who is definitely worthwhile looking up. She has done a lot of information about timing your cycle with any intermittent fasting or short-term or short water fast. How many days for water fast beginners in it? Does MCT and supplements? Yeah, I don't recommend doing any for a water fast. I don't recommend adding any supplements, any herbs. People do it with herbs. Personally, the only thing that I would add to any water fast is some salt. Pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt for mineral content, balanced electrolytes. I don't recommend having any MCT oil or swallowing any coconut oil, anything, even though it's high fats, it is still nutrition coming into the body that your body will have to process. Um, I've done 24 and would like to step it up, trying to get rid of psoriasis. So I'm working with a client right now who has chronic psoriasis. He's on day 12 of water fast and is having significant improvement of his symptoms. His red, raw, flaky, painful skin has now become a light pink, healing over, no longer flaky, no longer painful, and is only getting better as the days go by. Is fasting different for males and females? Yes, it is because we have different hormone cycles. Men's hormone cycle is 24 hours, where women's is 28 days. Again, when it comes to healing chronic sickness and disease, I don't differentiate between men and women. If you're healing chronic sickness, your body needs time to really go deep during a water fast. So I recommend the same amount of time for men, for women, whatever condition it might be, whether it's cancer, autoimmune conditions, digestive conditions, skin conditions, whether you're male or female. If it's an extended water fast, I recommend the same amount of time. Are electrolytes necessary or just the salts? I'm not sure what you mean just by that. You use salt to replenish electrolytes because they are in the salt. And salt can often sometimes help with some uncomfortable symptoms. I've fasted without salt before because there are some opposing schools of thought. But I personally have seen great success when using salt. So I think it's okay. And yes, I think it's definitely beneficial for electrolyte levels. Also for hypothyroids, yeah, so I've worked with a lady who had hyperthyroidism. That's the one who had the extremely high heart rate. And she did multiple water fasts with me. After the one we broke early in day 3, she did another 21-day program and did a 5-day water fast. And all of her symptoms, including her thyroid levels, came back to a normal level. Hypothyroid, what you need to be careful of there is more about your energy levels because it can drop. But again, doing it under supervision, making sure your vitals are at an appropriate level, and especially with your preparation being appropriate and being done properly, they will get you to where you need to be so you can successfully do a water fast. But there might be instances with these conditions where you have to break a water fast early. It does happen. It's okay. Juice fasting, fruits, still incredibly powerful ways to detox and heal the body, and sometimes it's necessary. I do fasting max I've done is 36 to 42 hours, but I have headaches and sometimes gashes. So the first 3 days of a water fast are often the most challenging. All right, because you're having that transition period. I often talk about this day, like, day 4 or day 5 after your first 3 days of water fasting, I refer to as your breakthrough day, where you break through that really uncomfortable experience. Usually day 2 for me, roughly around that 36, 42 hour mark, is really hard for me. I feel like shit. I've got no energy. I've got a headache. I'm lethargic. Like I don't feel good. But then I wake up on day 3, sometimes day 4, and I feel like a brand new person. Your energy levels are higher. You feel good. You're completely different to the day you were before because your body has adapted to the fasting process. So if you have gotten to that point, I encourage you to, you know, push through it if you can to try and get to that 3rd or 4th day. Doing an enema, cleaning out your colon can sometimes really help. Can I keep swimming while on a water fast? Not if it's like exercise swimming. I don't recommend doing water fast. Sorry, lap swimming because that's high intensity, will put your body into a stress state. Going for a walk and a swim down at the ocean, at the river, the lake, absolutely. Strongly recommend getting into big bodies, natural bodies of water, because they can just bring you back to life during a water fast, particularly on the hard days. For more than 5-day water fast, I understand it's harder to do in the city. Would you recommend being in a natural water body, nature to sport? Nature to sport. I understand it's harder in the city. Yes, I recommend going to, natural bodies of water to like, a lake. If I could go do it anywhere in the world, I'd go to a tropical destination that has access to a beautiful crystal blue water beach. That is the best way to do it. You got sunshine, fresh air, beautiful fresh bodies of water. Best way to do it, and it's warm. Best way to do it is when you're warm. But look, I've had people who are fasting in the middle of winter in like Chicago and really, cold places. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and you can still have great success and healing. It's just if you have a perfect destination, it's always going to be in a tropical location. For a 7 day water fast, how often should you do a colonic? I would recommend doing a colonic at the beginning and at the end with some enemas in between during a 7 day water fast. You could do more than one if you really wanted to. You could do one at the beginning, you could do one on the third or fourth day, and then also do one on the seventh or eighth day as well. But I would usually give yourself a couple days in between. Any good electrolyte suggestion we can buy, and should we take magnesium supplement if we have muscle pain? No, I don't recommend any supplements, but again, any good brand of Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt is a good place to start for your electrolyte and salt addition to your water. But wherever you live in the world, that brand might be different. Any other questions? Those questions came out of nowhere. You guys didn't write anything for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 which is fantastic, and I love it. But yeah, any other questions before we bring this thing to a close? So just a reminder, if you want to go back up, click on that link for all of you guys as a thank you from me to you. 50% off all of those programs, $500 off that 90-day program. So, that is all available to you for the next probably 16 hours. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll change it. So wherever you are in the world, make the most of it. Go check out those links, see if they feel like the right program for you. But again, thank you so much for coming, guys. I really, truly appreciate it. I love doing this work, and it really means a lot when you guys are here supporting me and being a part of it. So again, thank you. Um, any short programs, sorry, I should have mentioned for any extended programs, for any water fast beyond 5 days, I do one-on-one coaching. So if you'd like to do that, just get in touch with me. You can send an email to me. I'll write my email here, or you can book in a call with me on my website. But if you want to, send me an email here. Um, yes, you can speak. Or can you write your question? I'm sorry, not sure how to pronounce your name just easily. Himanshu. If you can type your question here, it would be a bit easier. But otherwise, yeah, guys, if you want to do a longer program and it be a longer water fast, I do that one-on-one coaching as well. Typically between 30 to 60-day programs that's centered between a 7 to 10 day water fast in the shorter ones and then a 20-day water fast in the longer ones. I do them only one-on-one. So yes, get in touch with me and we can speak on the phone and talk about what that looks like and how it will be able to be tailored to your needs and what you're dealing with. But yeah, you can reach out on Instagram, message me at that email, whatever form of communication. Some of you guys already know you, so we can talk more about that. But I think due to fasting, can you? Okay, so PKA enzymes are enzymes that are produced naturally in the body, but they are inhibited due to fasting. When we're in a fasted state, our body suppresses the production of these PKA enzymes, and these PKA enzymes are what inhibit our body's ability to utilize stem cells. So when our body is producing stem cells, if we are producing this PKA enzyme, it stops our body from being able to utilize it. But when we're in a fasted state, our body suppresses PKA enzyme production. Hopefully that answers your question. That's why we're in a fasted state. Our body's is able to do these things. It's just confirmation that when we're fasted, it's our default healing state. And the longer we're in this state comfortably, safely, with the right preparation, we're able to achieve incredible, accelerated, miraculous healing. Uh, I don't know what the difference between those are, to be perfectly honest. I'm not familiar with cancer stem cells. From my understanding of this study, they are stem cells with the power of embryonic stem cells. So they're embryonic-like. All right. I'm not familiar too much with cancer stem cells, but these stem cells produced during a water fast have the potential and power and capabilities of embryonic stem cells that you'd find in an unborn child in the womb. Alrighty. Any other questions? I'm about to bring this thing to a close. I think we might be good. Guys, thank you again so much for coming. I really, truly appreciate it. If you need anything, reach out, talk to me, and I'll be able to answer any questions. No, I don't recommend tap water. I don't know what the quality of your tap water is like in Africa. I would say getting your water from a well or a spring water, from a running spring would be your best option. And failing that, having some sort of filtration device. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring it to a close. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I wish you well on your journey, whatever that might be. If you want to reach out, if you want to get in touch, please do so. I'm not for, no, not ball, definitely not borehole water. Bore water is that will have sediment, it will have potentially bacteria, parasites. You want to make sure you filter that. As I said on the call, you want spring water, reverse osmosis, distilled water, or some sort of filtration device. If you can't get a hold of that, I wouldn't be doing a exclusively water fast until you can. But I'm gonna bring it to a close. Thanks for coming, guys. If you need anything, if you have questions about doing some fasting for your own personal issues, reach out. Let's jump on a call and we can talk about it. Thank you to you all. Much appreciated. And I'll talk to you again soon.